Alrighty guys, welcome back to Cobra Vids. This is Garage Project Part 2. You saw me build all that and pour all that. Well, we're starting on this side here. And as before, we're going to start on the footers for the walls first. We've got these two here. And as you can see, they're level. On the other side, we did step down, and when I went to put the siding up, that really made it difficult to get them aligned and everything. So I decided, you know what, we're going to start down here since this is the lowest, and we're going to put them as low as possible, and we're going to come all the way up here and do them even all the way across. So when I put the siding in, the siding is level, but the footers might get deeper or taller. You know what I mean. Alrighty, so I'm about to go get concrete. I'm going to get a pallet and tons of rebar so I can do it right. I've had people tell me I don't have to put rebar in my footers, but you know what? I'm not listening to them because it's not their garage that they're building. And I'm going to go ahead and put, in this long one, probably 5 or 6 rebar, about 3 feet, drive it down so that this wall does not move at all. Because what this is going to be a doorway here. I'm going to build a wall up to this point here, and this is going to be a doorway. So I'm going to have to put an 11 by 7 inch step in here, and then concrete at this level here all the way down. Now Kyler got 95% of this area dug out and this strip here. I just came in and finished leveling it out so it's perfectly level across, so we get a nice 3.5, 4 inch layer of rebar and reinforced concrete all the way across. That's what I did. Well, I actually got about 6 inches over here. I went way overboard, used like 4 pallets of concrete for just the floor. So I'm going to go a little thinner, but still rebar enforced, and it should be okay. 4 inches should be good to park cars on and do work and stuff. So I got to pour this one first, and then these two. This one has to be last because, for one, I can't get forms up on here, and two, when I do this, I'm going to have to cut a trench across my concrete to run a line under the house to the breaker panel for a 220 breaker so I can put a sub panel right here. So I'm going to have to concrete in a 1 inch conduit and everything, and then pour the concrete in there so I can run my 220 up when I am ready. But anyway, guys, here's where we're at. Just about to go get concrete, and when I come back, I got to take a brick and pack down all the rock that I've packed in all these guys here. I got to fill in a little bit more rock on this side to build the wall. To hold in the concrete that I'm pouring. And I got to fill this up a little more with rock, and then pack it all down, and we'll be ready to rebar it and get it poured. So I hope you stick with us. This is going to be a good part because this is going to almost finalize the garage. I'm going to have to put some type of rafter system up here to house the garage door openers that's going to be pulling the doors up and down on both sides. That's going to come in the future though. And then of course I have to make sure when I build my wall, I build it wide enough for a 36 inch door. I think it's like 38 inches wide raw opening. I've already measured here to 83 inches, somewhere around there, because it's a 82.5 inches raw opening. So I just went a little larger just to be safe. Alright guys, well, off to Lowe's I go. If I think about it, I'll break out the camera and record a little bit there. I know that some of you guys like to go to Lowe's with me, so I try to break it out, but I get so tied up in buying stuff, I forget. Well, I got the concrete back home and my rebar, and I started setting up my 3 feet down in the ground, actually 2.5 feet down in the ground, and my rebar across. I'm using 1/2 inch rebar. Some would say that's overkill, but that's what I do, man. I do things overkill so that it's not underdone, because I don't like my meat underdone. But anyway, I was tapping this in here, and a little snake pops up, and he complains that I just drove a shaft right through his home. And so he thought about it for a minute, and he says, wait a minute, I'm okay with it. It's now my wife's new stripper pole. Alrighty guys, well today's the day. We're going to pull off all these forms. We're going to see what the finished product looks like. You know, I'm up every morning, crack of dawn, sun just comes up, I'm up. Even on my days off. And kids, they sleep in until noon. Whatever time they sleep in, it's too late. Oh, where has the work ethics in this world gone? Alrighty, so I got this one almost off. Let's go around to the other side here. I've dropped these forms, and I got a little lip where my board's kind of separated when some of the slop started getting in there. That's okay. That could be either chipped away, but actually it's going to be right at level that I'm going to bring concrete down to the sidewalk. I'm dig this out and pour concrete all in here so that when water does come down here, and it will, it can sheet off and away from the wall rather than up underneath it. So, what do you think, guys? Did it turn out all right? I think so. Over here, yeah, you could probably make it out. That stud there is pointing off in this direction. It's one of those guys, you know, he hangs left. That one there, I'm just going to have to drill the hole in a weird angle to get my lower board on there. And this one's kind of off center because I had to measure it so that it's in the middle of my 16 on centers. So I got to stop right here because that's where the door is going to be, right in the middle there. Alrighty, well, I'm going to get to moving these off, then we'll turn the camera back on and show you how they all look. Alrighty guys, here's the update on the wall. I started forming this and I realized I needed to run my conduit. Now my original plan was to cut a little trench out of here and run my conduit through there. But then I thought, you know what? Half his arm reached this and half his arm reached that way. So let's go from both sides and connect in the middle. And you know what? We did. We got a slightly over an inch hole dug under the concrete pad. Now we have an elbow going up because we're going to run the line, the 220 up and across the bottom of the house there. It's rated exterior. And then we're going to come up here and run it to our sub box that we're going to have mounted here. So that's roughed in. There's no wire in there yet, of course, but I've got it set up to where I run my snake down through here, and then Kyler can help feed a lubricated wire in, and I'll be pulling up, and we'll get it up through here, and we'll be ready to rock and roll into that sub panel. We're using a 3-wire with the ground for our 220. All right, man. Well, now I'm just finishing up the form, getting it all built up, and then I gotta plug up the bottom pieces, the bottom runs, and then we're gonna rebar it and get it poured. I've got my little step here. It's 7 inches or so up high. I think 7.5 is the standard code, and then we have 11 inches deep. That's standard code as well. Last time I checked, anyway. 7.5 up and 11 deep is, I believe, what code reads. And I got 2 pieces of rebar in there. They're about 3 feet. And I got this long one I got to cut down for the center runner. We reinforce everything with rebar, even if we don't have to. Because doing it too much is doing it right, in my book. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get this poured, show you what it's all looking like once it's poured and done. And then we'll move on to the next step. Yeehaw, we're getting it done, guys. Alrighty, due to my conduit here, I have to put my rebar off center a little bit, but that's okay. The effect is going to remain the same. It's going to be reinforced with a piece of rebar. Could have put a piece on each side, but I think even for me that's going a little overboard, but the thought did cross my mind. Alrighty, guys, well, here we are. We've got this all poured, we've got it leveled out. Got my conduit all in there. It's all the way up underneath the house. It's ready to feed my 220 through for the new sub box. I've got that footer done for the doorway. I've got my step poured. It's just setting up. And before you know it, we're going to start pouring concrete on the floor here. We're going to start with one 4-foot section because I've got enough concrete to do one 4-foot section. And then once that 4-foot section is done, I'm going to go get another pallet. And I'm going to do 2 4 foot. I'm going to do a 4 foot here, leaving some dirt here, 4 foot here, and 4 foot at the end there, so that I can get 2 poured in one day, so that the next day I can pour the center, and I wouldn't even have to put up forms for the ones that are in the middle of the 2 pads, because the pads and this pad here will be the form. So I just pour it and level it, and it's good, and I don't even have to pull up any forms later on. So it's going to happen really fast. We're going to get it all poured and set in, and so that we can start using it for our garage. Oh boy, I can't wait. It's happening so fast. Just yesterday, nothing was poured. So, all right, man. Well, here's the mess. We'll have it cleaned up. I'm going to back the truck in underneath the garage cover so that they can sit there for the week while I go to work. And next weekend, we'll get started again. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the garage build. I'm glad I'm back on it. We had to get a few other more important things done, and now we're back on it. We just have to dig out the rest. That all there is pretty much dug out. We just got to dig out the rest here, and digging the stuff out is the hardest part, I tell you. So, alright guys, if you haven't done so already, subscribe, ring the bell so you know when the next garage video is coming out for you. Like the video so it can reach more people, so they can enjoy it as you do. Take it easy, guys. As I always say, stay safe, live free. We're out of here. We love you guys.